Welcome back, Curious Minds. Today we're going to talk about Generation Z and culture. Because for so long, the human culture comes from where you've lived. Culture comes from cultivate. So the types of animals you had around, the types of food that you could grow, the type of dishes you could prepare with that food, it made your culture because you took from the land around you and made that an identity. And people born in some specific place would have that specific identity. Well, now we have Generation Z. Generation Z doesn't have that. It doesn't matter if you're from Ohio or you're from Florida, you could make the same TikTok. It doesn't matter if you're from China or if you're from Brazil, you can work the same remote jobs if you meet all the qualifications. You can work a job in the US remotely and go live somewhere like Spain and not even be around the land that you are working from. This is kind of strange because this is an adaptation period to humans in that kind of cultural pressure. The things we can expect to see is, obviously, a world with no borders. When we take away the importance of the land and the cultivation around us, we start shipping everything in containers. We lose that sense of touch with the earth because we don't need the land underneath us to provide for us anymore. When it comes to borders, like don't cross my land, it's usually because you had something in your land that the other place wanted. I mean, if you ever played any sort of territorial civilization games, you know what I'm talking about, where it's like not everywhere has silk, not everywhere has elephants, not everywhere has the same resources. So that integration was inevitable because everyone really wants everything. I mean, no one really knows what they want. But when you have Gen Z growing up in this kind of societal pressure, what you'll see is they get their identity not from the land that's underneath them because that touch is gone. They get that from anywhere else in the globe, anywhere they can really seek it. A YouTuber from Sweden could be their inspiration. An artist from Africa. It doesn't really matter. It just depends on where you look, or maybe even happenstance of where you fall first. Because of this, they're creating their own cultural tapestry, something that's tied together through things like computer memes and shared experiences of things that are on the internet, not so much in a specific place. Those shared experiences are now found on accounts or live events that are shown online rather than something you go to, like a world fair. This will be dynamic, it'll be ever evolving. It's why No Earth Sign is really having a great time right now, because you're going through so much change. It's not really going to be reasonable to find any sort of stability in this. Think of yourself on a ship, a rocking boat. We're crossing one land and we're going to the next, and this ocean is going to be treacherous and really no one knows where they're going. But we know we have to get to the next part, and that's what's important. However, because of this will cause some sort of cultural trauma in which many more people will become open-minded. You see, when you're taking the land and the cultural beliefs that you have yourself and you're going to another land that has their own cultural beliefs, it's tons of closed-mindedness, tons of religious dogma, tons of all the negative stuff that kind of just keeps people the same all the time. That's going to be gone because society and the culture is going to be wrapped around the rocking of the boat, not the stability of the land. This open-mindedness also comes with the downside that no one's going to be very self-assured, or rather we're not going to feel that much comfort in the change. In fact, it's almost going to feel like an endless battle in a sort of ways. It'll be painful in the sense that everything can be going right and you still don't feel okay. I mean, if you're from a land where you cultivate from within, if your land's okay, you feel okay. But if you cultivate your culture from a global standpoint and the entire globe is evolving all the time, no wonder you don't feel okay. And that's all right. That's just, again, we have to get from one place to another. There will be a fear of where we end up. What if there is no land? What if the land, when we get there, it's filled with these hostile new animals that are like 80-foot tall bears that just like eat all of us alive? You don't know. What if all the plants are poisonous? What if we can't grow anything? You don't know, and that's also going to cause sort of like a trauma of confusion and the trauma of feeling like no matter what I do, it doesn't even matter because who knows where we're going to be. But that's not true. How you spend your time on the boat in the transition period really matters. What kind of person you come out as on the other side. Now, if you spend your time on the boat making connections, getting prepared, meeting with people and learning how to have a public discourse so that whenever new laws are needed, you are able to give opinions that help the group, not just yourself. And then beautifully, when we come to the end of this, we'll have so much more identity. But the beautiful side of this is that when we come over into the age of Aquarius and finally be proud of who we are, just weird individuals going through this life that's ever changing, we'll be so much happier. We'll be happier at the end of the roller coaster, at the end of the boat, at the end of the transition period, and self-assured of who we are. But you see, when you change from the identity of one person to the identity of another person, you have to strip away and have the ego death of the old one. You see, when you go through this identity change, you can't just hold two identities in your body. One of them has to go. So there's sort of this cultural ego death that we're going through. It's perfectly understandable to not feel okay, because the point is you shouldn't. The more not okay and more uncomfort we seek now, the more comfortable the other side will be. If we continue to act like we aren't going through this transition period, when we get there, it'll just be complete chaos on land. Let's have the chaos on the boat. Hi, my name's Lane. If you're looking for more clarity on the times that we're going through right now, go ahead and follow my channel. We're opening up spiritual discourse so that we can better understand the world around us and fear less about the tomorrow. We should wake up engaged in the day, and that's what I'm looking to inspire people to do. Spiritually awaken themselves. Rise from the grave of this atheistic hellhole we've kind of put ourselves in. We've shut off an entire aspect of our spirituality and gave way to this sort of easy to access distractions of the world. I want to heal this. I want other healers to get in contact with me. Let's come up with ideas. Let's come up with better ways that we can get on this platform of YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and spread this knowledge so that less people are so concerned with things they have no help about, and they start to understand what they can actually do to inspire change in this world right now.